Hey everyone, welcome. So when I say the words Silk Road, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably a single, long, dusty road stretching across Asia with these huge caravans carrying, well, silk. But today, we're going to completely pull that image apart and discover what it really was. This vast, complex, and totally revolutionary network that literally changed the world. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so let's tackle that main idea head on. Was it actually one single road, kind of paved with silk? The name itself is a little misleading. It was actually coined by a German geographer way, way later, in the 19th century. Because the reality, it was so much more complex, and honestly way more fascinating. It wasn't one road, and believe me, it wasn't just about silk. This was maybe the world's first great experiment in what we'd now call global connection. Right, so first things first, we've got to get the map in our heads right. We have to stop picturing a single highway and start seeing the Silk Road for what it actually was, this sprawling, interconnected web.
So here's the definition we should really be using. We're talking about a massive network of routes that were always changing, some over land, some over sea, that linked China all the way to the Mediterranean. And get this, it lasted for over 1,500 years. So think of it less like a single interstate and more like this huge web of local roads where all the little stops along the way were just as important as the start and end points.
And yeah, the cargo, this is where that silk idea really gets blown out of the water. I mean, sure, Chinese silk was a huge deal in Rome, a total status symbol, but the flow of goods was so much richer than that. You had gunpowder and paper, technologies that would completely reshape the West, traveling out of China, and coming back the other way. You had these powerful Central Asian horses, beautiful Roman glass, and precious metals. It was a true global marketplace in every sense of the word. This might be the best way to think about it. The Silk Road was basically the circulatory system for the entire ancient world. It wasn't just pumping goods back and forth. It was pumping the actual lifeblood of culture. We're talking ideas, technology, religions, even diseases across whole continents. It was linking these massive empires in a way that had just never, ever happened before. So the big question is, how does something this huge even get started? I mean, it obviously wasn't built in a day. It was this gradual process, one that grew out of diplomacy, a little bit of exploration, and a desperate search for some powerful allies. The real spark, the moment it all kicks off, happens in the 2nd century BCE. China's Han Dynasty sent out this envoy, a diplomat named Zhang Xian, to the West. His main mission? Find allies to fight against their nomadic enemies. But his journey ended up taking 13 years. It was an absolutely incredible trek. And the reports he brought back to the emperor, they unveiled this whole world of sophisticated civilizations and amazing goods out west, which officially kicked open the door for real, formalized trade. Okay, so once the routes are basically established, we enter what you could call the golden age of the Silk Road. This is the period when the network is just buzzing with activity. It's a true melting pot where different cultures didn't just meet each other, they actually started to merge. And this idea of a two-way flow is it's everything. It was not a one-sided deal. As silk, paper, and gunpowder flowed west out of China, you had gold, silver, and wine flowing east into it. But look at the bottom of this list because this is where it gets really profound. It wasn't just about physical stuff. Buddhism traveled from India along these routes into China and the rest of East Asia, and at the same time, Christianity was making its own journey eastward. The most valuable cargo, it turns out, was ideas.
And that, right there, is the real magic of the Silk Road. It went so far beyond simple economics. It was this dynamic, centuries-long conversation between civilizations. Art styles, scientific knowledge, philosophical beliefs, they were all being exchanged, creating this incredibly rich, hybrid culture all along these different paths.
But, every great era has to come to an end. For the Silk Road, its final great chapter was actually written by the Mongol Empire, which is ironic because the Mongols created the conditions for both its last big boom and, ultimately, its decline.
This whole period is, of course, famously documented by travelers like Marco Polo. And his words here, they just perfectly capture that sense of complete awe and the unbelievable scale of the East as seen through Western eyes. It was a world that was suddenly accessible and relatively safe to travel through for the first time in ages, all thanks to Mongol rule. But that golden age just couldn't last. The unification under the Mongols, this period of stability people call the Pax Mongolica, or the Mongol Peace, it turned out to be a massive double-edged sword.
On one hand, it made travel safer than it had ever been, but on the other, it also created a terrifyingly efficient highway for the bubonic plague to spread. At the exact same time, new technology in sailing was making sea routes way faster and cheaper. So as the big land empires started to crumble, the overland Silk Road just became too dangerous and expensive, and the world's attention started shifting to the oceans. So if the actual physical routes kind of faded into history, why are we still talking about it? I mean, why does it matter today? Well, because its true legacy isn't found in those old dusty trails. It's literally woven into the fabric of our modern world. When you boil it all down, the Silk Road was the original World Wide Web. Seriously, it was the very first time that our world felt truly interconnected on a massive scale. It proved that amazing things and, yeah, sometimes terrible things happen when different cultures connect. It was the blueprint for globalization as we know it. Its impact today is just immense. It connected cultures that were worlds apart, which sparked all sorts of new innovations as ideas were shared and improved upon. It totally changed what people ate, as new spices and crops traveled thousands of miles. It even reshaped the genetic map of entire continents as people moved, mixed, and built new communities all along these ancient routes. Which brings me to one last thought. That first great network carried goods and ideas using camel caravans and merchant ships. Our network today, well, it does the exact same thing, but it moves data and culture at the speed of light. It connects us, it changes us, and it presents its own unique opportunities.